The 9th of December, 1971. Bruce Lee did something so fast and impossible that it stopped Johnny Carson in his tracks. He was on the Tonight Show stage across from Bruce Lee. It was caught on film. 40 million people in the US saw it. But Bruce Lee had just saved Johnny Carson's life. No one in the crowd, on the set, or even Johnny himself knew this. For 12 years, no one would know how he did it. What you're about to see is more than just a story about a famous martial artist and the late-night TV star. It's about the moment when two guys from very different backgrounds found out they had something in common that was so rare and important that it would change their lives forever. Before we start, though, I see a lot of messages in the comments from people who didn't read the newsletter. Please do me a favor and double-check to see if you are a member to this channel. This would be very helpful. It's easy. Anyone who watches this show often can do something free to help us keep things going the way they are. Please make sure you've subscribed again, and thank you so much. In a weird way, you're a part of our past, and I appreciate you being a part of this journey with us. That's when Johnny Carson had no idea that he was sitting 3 feet away from someone who could see death coming. Bruce Lee saw something scary in Johnny's body language that made him narrow his eyes. Johnny's left hand shook a little, his fingernails turned a little different color, and his breath would stop for a moment between words. Signs that most people would miss. Bruce Lee, who had spent his whole life studying the body, saw these signs right away as warnings of impending disaster. That Thursday night, the Tonight Show studio was exciting. Stage lights were flashing all over Studio One at NBC Burbank. The 320 people in the crowd were very excited. Bruce Lee, who was only 31 years old, was about to go on his second episode of America's most-watched TV show. When he first showed up 6 months before, it caused a big stir. People wrote letters to NBC pleading to see more of this mesmerizing martial artist who could move like lightning and talk like an old philosopher. It was 1971, and Johnny Carson was at the top of his game. After 9 years as host of The Tonight Show, he was more than just a TV host. He was America's friend and the voice that put the country to sleep every night. Presidents tried to get his support. A lot of movie stars begged him to take their time. It only takes one joke from Johnny Carson to make or break a career. But Johnny Carson was keeping something from his millions of fans that would have shocked them. He was known for his famous smile and quick-witted jokes. He had no idea that he was going to die yet. Everything would start with what happened backstage 40 minutes before Bruce Lee walked on stage. For the interview, Johnny was going over his note cards in his changing room. Before the show, Ed McMahon always checks in, and he had just left. The door was shut. Johnny thought he was by himself. Then he felt a sharp pain in his chest. Not really bad pain that makes you want to call for help. That was just enough to make Johnny stop, put his hand on his chest, and take a deep breath. It hurt for about 10 seconds and then went away. Johnny shook his head and said it was because he drank 3 cups of coffee that afternoon. He then turned back to his note cards. The pain hit him right as someone walked by in the hallway outside his changing room. He had no idea. Someone whose training had taught him to pick up on changes in energy, or chi, in other people from across the room. After stopping to look, someone stood at Johnny's door for a minute with a worried look on their face. Bruce Lee, the best treat is still to come. Bruce Lee was about to do something on national TV that would break all the rules of TV manners, shock Johnny Carson into quiet, and start a friendship that would save Johnny's life in ways that neither man could have imagined. It started at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, just as planned. That night, Johnny's speech was very sharp. Political jokes about Nixon, thoughts on Christmas shopping, and the crowd going crazy. Johnny was living his dream life. He had that right mix of charm and bite that had made him famous. Johnny stood up and stretched his shoulders during the ad break before Bruce Lee came on. There was no more chest pain. He was fine. In a whisper, Ed McMahon said that Bruce Lee was the real deal and that the man could really do everything he said he could. Johnny smiled, fixed his tie, and got ready to greet his guest. Ed's voice was heard all over the room. "Thank you very much. This is Bruce Lee, the star of The Green Hornet." The crowd exploded. Bruce came out from behind the curtain in a simple black suit. He moved with his signature fluid ease, which made it look like he was gliding instead of walking. His smile was real and warm. He showed respect by shaking Johnny's hand with both hands, which Johnny liked right away. They sat down in their chairs. The interview went off without a hitch. Johnny asked what martial arts were. Bruce showed how to do some simple moves. The crowd was enthralled. There was no problem at all. Then it took place. Johnny was on a quest. When Bruce's face quickly changed, there was something funny about how he stayed in such great shape. Without warning or an explanation, Bruce Lee got up from his chair and spoke 5 words that silenced the whole room. His smile disappeared, and he looked straight at Johnny with laser-like focus. "Stand up, Mr. Carson." The video recorders were still going. 40 million people in the US watched. Johnny Carson had been on TV for almost 10 years and had interviewed thousands of people. He was proud of the fact that he had never been caught off guard. But he had no idea what was going on. Wait, don't miss this part. What you are about to see has never been fully explained before this. Something changed in that studio when Bruce Lee stood up and told Johnny Carson to stand up. No one could quite explain it. Johnny's first thought was to just laugh it off. That was his job, after all. Don't stress out. Make sure the crowd is at ease. He gave her the famous Carson smile and began to joke. "Bruce, if you're going to make a move on me, you should know that I have a great lawyer." Bruce stopped smiling, though. In a soft but firm move, he raised his hand to show that this is serious. "Please, Mr. Carson," Bruce said again and again, his voice calm but strong enough to cut through all the other sounds in the studio. People didn't know whether to laugh or keep quiet when he said, "Stand up right now." This wasn't written in the plot. The director was frantically pointing to his assistant director. "What's going on? Did we miss something in the pre-in?" Ed McMahon was almost up from his chair, ready to step in if things were going badly. When Johnny looked around the room and saw that Bruce was acting honestly, he slowly got up. "Bruce, I'm ready now. What is this about?" Bruce got closer, but not in a scary way. He moved closer like a doctor walking up to a patient. He pointed to the left side of Johnny. "Your left arm." "May I?" 3 times on The Tonight Show in front of everyone in the United States. "You did make a deal." They shook hands. The crowd exploded. Something crazy had never happened on The Tonight Show before. Clint Eastwood and Muhammad Ali just decided to fight live on Johnny Carson next week. Johnny took a look at the camera. "I don't know if NBC will allow this to happen, but if they do, next Thursday night will be the most watched Tonight Show ever. We'll be back right away." It cut to an ad. It got crazy in the studio. The legal department is having heart attacks, producers are running around, and execs are on the phone. Johnny looked at both of them. "Are you being too serious?" Ali told him, "I'm serious. I'm going to teach everyone. How do movie stars feel when they think they're tough?" "That's right," Clint said. "But it needs to be done right. I'm not going to do it unless I have the right ring, gloves, and safety gear." Johnny said that NBC would never agree to this. He was wrong, though. NBC saw the possibility for viewers, the attention, and the money. They gave their approval in 3 hours, but there were some conditions. There would be a doctor on call, a judge, safety rules, and only 2 rounds, not 3. The message was sent out the next morning. Thursday, May 19, 1977, on The Tonight Show. Clint Eastwood vs. Muhammad Ali. Live fighting for 2 rounds to raise money. Everything went crazy. It was on the front page of every newspaper. It was all anyone talked about on the news and on the radio. Some people really liked it and thought it was great. The best kind of entertainment. Some people didn't like it and said it was dangerous and careless. If a real fighter fights a fake, someone might get hurt. But everyone was going to see it. That was the thing. Everyone watched, whether they liked it or not. It was a mess the week between shows. Clint worked out alone at a private gym with a fighting coach to get ready. Ali worked out in public at a LA gym. He showed off his speed, strength, and confidence to the media everywhere. It was a mistake for Clint Eastwood. We asked Ali if he was afraid of hurting Clint. He said, he should have walked away, should have let it go. But he got pride and ego, and now I'm going to embarrass him in front of 70 million people. I'm not going to hurt him. I'll teach him and show him how movies are different from real life, but I'll be nice about it. I don't want to hurt Harry's nose. That's how he makes money. Clint didn't do interviews or talk to the press. He just practiced and got ready. His agent was going crazy. This is the end of your career. You can't work if Ali hurts you. When you look bad, people don't trust you. There's no good side. I promised. What? A lot of people don't keep their promises. NBC would get it. Ali would know what to do. Pull away. I'm not leaving. Why? Why do you care so much about this? Clint gave it some thought. Because Ali told me I was wrong in front of everyone on TV, and I agreed. I'm scared if I back out now. I'm not strong. I am everything he said I was. That's not okay for me. You'd rather get beat up on TV, then. I'd rather be there. The Tonight Show aired on NBC Studio One on Thursday, May 19, 1977. There was a real boxing ring made right in the studio. The band would sit on ropes, canvas, corner chairs, and everything else. That wasn't the typical Tonight Show crowd. These were people who had to camp out for days to get tickets because they wanted to see history. There was a different vibe. Electric and dangerous. It wasn't like any other talk show. There was an event. Jackie came out. No speech, just getting right to work. Welcome to the strangest Tonight Show we've ever done, ladies and gentlemen. What you're about to see is real. I boxed for 2 rounds. Muhammad Ali vs. Clint Eastwood, backed by the California State Athletic Commission and overseen by a qualified referee. All the money raised will go to children's hospitals across the country. He took a break. This show has been going on for 15 years. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. That being said, let's get our troops out right away. The band played. Ali was the first one out. The crowd is going crazy with dancing, shadowboxing, and boxing robes. Then Clint walked up to the ring in just black shorts and gloves, no robe or show, he just jumped in. The ref told them to go to the middle. A trained ref was brought in just for this. Men, you already know the rules. There are 2 rounds, each lasting 3 minutes. Clean it up. Always keep yourself safe. This is an art show. There is no reason for anyone to get hurt. Put on gloves. Gloves were touched. Ali talked the whole time. Clint, are you ready for this? Are you ready to show the world who the toughest person is? Clint didn't answer. They just stared. They stood in their spots. The bell went off. The first round. Ali moved quickly, danced, and threw jabs at Clint. He wasn't trying to hurt him, he was just showing off his speed and skill. People were yelling and going crazy. This was really taking place. Boxing with Muhammad Ali. Tony Hawk on The Tonight Show. Clint stood there with his hands up and watched. He didn't run after them or get scared. Ali moved around and threw a bunch of different combos that either missed Clint's gloves or hit them. There is no clean thing, only action. Just show. Ali told Clint, come on. Clint waited and watched. You got to throw something. You can't just defend all night.